Good evening. Welcome to My Time, our mat yoga class from UC Davis Integrative Medicine. I'm Maureen Craig, doctorally prepared in nursing practice and a registered yoga teacher hosting our class this evening. We're going to be using 2 blocks in our class, so take a moment to grab your blocks if you have them. If you don't, you can still participate in the class. But I think you'll enjoy the use of the blocks, okay? So we'll start with them at the top of your mat. We're gonna begin in a reclined position. So place one for head support and then tip the other one down, and that's where your shoulder blades will go, okay? So come on down into a lying position on your mat. You'll lower your shoulder blades onto the first block, and then place the second block under the skull so you get some good support for the head. And the shoulder blade block should provide some good support for the shoulder blades, letting the shoulders open up and your arms, your hands can be turned towards the sky. And just take a moment to let yourself rest there as you breathe and see if that is comfortable and helps your spine. Now, some people have a bit of a curve in the spine that makes this uncomfortable. So if that's you, then please switch off the block. But this can be very helpful to open the chest, lift the heart, create a little space in the thoracic spine. You can extend your legs long, or you might prefer to have the knees bent, and you can have the knees either crossed or folded together with the heels out. Once you've found a comfortable position for yourself, we'll begin our breath or pranayama practice. And this will be a 4-part practice. So 4 parts: a breath in, holding, a breath out, and hold at the bottom. What I'd like to instruct you on is that after you have breathed in and you're holding at the top, instead of holding, continuing to draw in the breath to hold the in-breath, place the tongue at the top of the soft palate, and this blocks the out-breath. Then you can let go in the body as you hold the breath, okay? Each section a count of 4. So beginning with an inhale of 4. Hold for 4, letting go in the shoulders, using the tongue against the roof of the mouth, and letting go and blowing through a straw for a count of 4. At the bottom of the exhale, holding it out for a count of 4, and repeating that cycle. As you continue that pattern, you can let the counting fall more to the background and focus on the 4 parts to the breath. The inhale, a pause at the top, letting go in the body. The exhale, and just holding the breath out softly at the bottom. Repeating that cycle. Finishing the cycle that you're on and taking 1 more now. And resuming the natural breath. Bringing your attention over your heart. Sensing the emotional body, and setting an intention for your practice this evening. Perhaps you're looking to strengthen your body physically, find a little unwinding for your autonomic nervous system, maybe more peace or presence. Anything is all right, your choice. Once you've set your intention, roll to one side or the other to come off of the blocks. Bring yourself flat onto the mat. Draw your left knee in. The right heel goes long. If it's comfortable for you, walk your hands up the back of that leg, circles with the ankle, getting a bit of a hamstring stretch here. And then switching sides, right knee comes in. And then walk your hands up the back of that leg, circles with the ankle. Both knees in, elbows out. Just let the knees come a little bit to the left and right. Stretching the side body a little. And then settle in the center. Bring your hands behind the thighs. Push the feet forward as you rock up on your elbows. Or find your way by coming to the side of your body and come on up into a seated posture. Once in a seated posture, take a breath in and feel the spine rise up and the shoulder blades drop down. We'll take the palm of our hand to the forehead, press into the palm of the hand with your forehead as you lengthen the neck, tucking the chin a little, and exhale. Softening here a little bit and then switching to the side. Press into the temple and lengthen the spine as you press in. And exhale. Releasing and switching to the other side. Press in as you lengthen the neck. And exhale. Switching to interlace your fingers right behind the bottom of the skull. Widen out the elbows if that's available to you. Lengthen up the back of the neck. Press the hands into the head into the hands. And exhale. Release, gently reaching the arms out into a T. Roll your thumbs back as you draw the shoulder blades together. Feel the stretch across the front of the chest. And exhale here as you push the thumbs back. Inhale forward, exhale back. A little cat-cow with the spine here as you're doing that. And then reach out long and drop your right hand to the mat as you sweep over, feeling that side bend. Inhale, sweep the sky. Come on over as you drop your left hand. Nice side bend. Push into that hand on the floor or on the mat. Drop the other hip down to the mat and come on over to the other side. As you're pressing your hand into the mat, take a moment to bring that hand up and roll the heart open. And then bring that hand down, rolling your heart towards the mat. Switching over to the other side. Hand comes down. Sweep over in a side bend. Again, raise the gaze up towards the sky. And exhale, bring the hand down to the mat. And take a moment to push both hands into the mat. And release. And then let's come over onto our hands and knees and we'll continue with a little cat-cow movement as we continue to warm up the spine. Just going to secure my hair as well. Hands underneath the shoulder points, knees underneath the hips. Just begin to move the spine gently as you're exploring the feeling in that spine and how your body's doing this evening. Want to always have a very open mind when it comes to experiencing our own bodies. not having a judgment of what it should do or what it should feel like, but really listening into how it is in this moment. Go ahead and drop your hips back towards your heels as you crawl the fingers forward. Drop the ears between the biceps in a child's pose. And then as you come forward, plant your hands and squeeze your glutes here. Straighten the legs out if you've had your knees wide. And take this modified up dog. So you're squeezing the glutes, lifting the heart. Exhale, push it back. As you inhale forward, tuck your toes. We're taking a little flow here and float into your plank. Hands under shoulders, toes are tucked. Exhale, push right on up to down dog. Now, if you feel like your hamstrings or your calves are tight, just soften the knees a bit so you can push your chest more back towards the thighs and then drop the heels a little. Inhale, up on the toes, roll forward to your plank. Exhale, drop the knees, push the hips back. Inhale, squeeze the glutes, hips come forward, heart lifts. Exhale, back towards child. Inhale, float it forward, plank. Exhale, down dog. Coming forward, bring your knees down, push back to child. And then walk it up to your table. We're going to come into a balanced table here. Balanced table, you'll see that I oftentimes include in almost every yoga class because it's so good for strengthening our core and especially our back. This is one of the fundamental practices to keep your back healthy. Push your right heel back, and if you'd like to, add the left thumb to the sky. Most importantly, try to level your hips out and take your gaze right beyond the edge of your yoga mat so you feel a lot of length between the toes on one side or the heel and the fingertips on the other. Inhale here. Exhale, sweep off center. Keep your table nice and flat. Inhale long. Exhale away. Keep that table nice and flat. And one more exhale. Bring the hand back to the mat. Drop the ball of the foot. And then as you press into your hands and the ball of the foot, you can push that heel back and get a good stretch on the base of the foot and in the calf. And release that knee to the mat. Now we like to include a little glute work here. So bend the knee and kick the heel up to the sky in a little bit of a donkey kick here. And we'll take that for about 5, 4, 3, 2, one more. And bring that knee down. Cleansing breath, and then we'll move on to the other side. Push that left heel back, level out the pelvis, draw the navel in, and then feel that extension through the right arm. Inhale here. Exhale, sweep off center. Keep that table nice and flat, lengthen out. Big breath, exhale away. Big breath as you lengthen again, exhale away. Strong breathing can help your practice so much. Bring your right hand down, the ball of the left foot down, and push that heel back. Getting a good stretch on the back of that leg and that foot. Okay. Bringing your knee down and then bending the knee and kicking that heel to the sky. We'll take it for 5, 4, 3, 2, one more. And release. Now we're going to come into doing a little bit of push-ups. Push-up work can work the chest muscles and it can also work the triceps. So if you come with your hands down on the mat and then you lengthen out into a plank, you can do push-ups from this position, but I find that it might be a little bit easier if you do it from your knees or if you do it on a block. So if you've got a sticky mat, you can bring your blocks underneath your hands, and then you'll just notice the distance is a little bit different and your angle is up a little bit. And so it makes it a little more doable to do the push-ups. And you can actually even go up one higher to the sides of the block and get it just a little higher as you do your push-ups. Okay, one more thing to think about when you're doing these push-ups is to think about the distance between the blocks. The more narrow the blocks are towards each other, and just try 1 or 2 push-ups in each position, the more it's tricep work. Breathe with it. If you widen out the hands, then it becomes more in the chest muscles, the pectoral muscles. And you can feel the work going across the front of the chest. Taking those push-ups. Okay, play with it a little bit and see which one works best for you. And then when you have practiced those push-ups a little bit, you can also, what I suggest sometimes to friends is use the edge of a counter, like you're at the sink, and you can just tip away and do your push-ups on the edge of a table or counter. Make sure it's stable, like the kitchen counter. All right, walk your hands back and turn your fingertips towards your knees. We're just going to take a little forearm stretch here after our push-up workout. Stretch the fronts of the arms there. And breathe with that, stretch. And then we're going to come up into our squat. Putting my blocks out here for our practice. From our squat, we'll lift up our hips a little. Lengthen out the back of the legs. Come into a bit of an inversion here. Inhale for a half lift. Lengthen into that half lift. Tuck the navel in. Fill the belly with a big breath. Exhale, scoop it in. Inhale, fill. Exhale and fold. Soften the knees and the hips and sweep up into your chair. Bring your hands to your heart. Feel the weight in the heels, a nice deep squat. Then squeeze the glutes and bring your arms out into a nice Y. Let you see me from this side here. So as comfortable as you can be for your shoulders. If you don't want to lift your hands up too high, it's okay to have them more out, okay? Squeeze the glutes though, so the front of the hips open. And we're going to sweep back down into our chair, prayer in a chair, and then squeeze it up. These are such good motions to take that helps strengthen us coming into a chair, just like we would be sitting on the couch, and standing up. Squeeze and strengthen. Come on down. 2 more. Here we go. Open it up. And down 1 more time. Squeeze it up. Big Y arms. There you go. Fantastic. Now, coming into our balance practice. So take a breath, cleansing breath, get yourself settled. We're going to challenge our balance, which of course is so valuable in helping us prevent falls. The more able we are to feel sturdy on one foot or the other in a balance, the less likely we are to fall. Bring all your weight to your right foot. Float the left heel and begin to draw circles with that heel. You can place your hands on your hips or out to the side, whatever works for you. And make that circle as small or as big as is comfortable for you. And then switch directions. And just feel the shift in that leg that's standing. See how challenging it can be? All right, let's move to the other side. Bringing your left foot down to the mat. Feel the weight landing in there, maybe a micro bend in the knee. And then float the other heel. And begin to draw a circle with that heel. Breathing with it. Holding a focus point can kind of help you. So maybe find something stationary in your distance to look. And now switch directions with that heel. And when I switch directions, it definitely challenges the standing leg. All right, coming to a close, both feet down on the mat. Very good. I hope that balance went well for you. Otherwise, it's something fun for you to practice through the week. Come on into your standing mountain posture at the top of your mat. Remembering that all yoga is a practice. So we just keep being present with it and figuring out, how am I doing in this moment and what might I do to care for this experience? Feet are parallel with the long edge, weight in the heels. Feel them push apart just a little bit. We're going to begin with drinking bird, okay? So a little softness in the knees and the hips. And we'll inhale our arms up, exhale and fold. The arms come up behind the back like a drinking bird and your chest is on your thighs. Inhale, sweep them up, lift the heart. Exhale, drinking bird. Inhale up. Exhale, drinking bird. Inhale up. Exhale, drinking bird. Coming to your forward fold. And go ahead and step back on the right, bringing the right knee down to the mat. Untuck the back toes. Then we're going to start to sink the hips towards that front heel. So just let your hips sink, opening up the front of that hip flexor on that side. Option to come into that modified warrior one if you want to raise your arms. Do what's comfortable for your shoulders. There's no pressure here to do this. But if it feels good to open your chest this way, drop into that modified warrior one. Now bring your hands to your hips and just imagine that your foot is stuck on the mat and you're going to pull it back, and your knee is stuck on the mat and you're going to pull it forward. So draw them to each other. That's that stretching. That nice resistance that we get. And it really helps improve the stretch in the muscles when we do this. Okay, bring your hands down to the mat and walk your hands back. We're going to take that hurdler stretch. So peel the toes up. Feel the back of the legs lengthen a little bit. And then as you walk your hands forward, take a block on the inside. We're going to come to a runner's lunge supported on the block. And just rock back and forth. Say hello to those feet. Rolling up and down through that back foot. Making sure it's almost like a massage. And now 2 lanes of traffic here. Hips are sunk. Bring that left elbow to the knee. Feel that line of energy reaching forward through your right arm. Lifting up that right arm to whatever degree is comfortable for you. And then sweep it back to the sacrum and roll that shoulder open a bit. Bring both hands back to the block. As you do, think pyramid pose, so a half step forward with the back foot. Both heels are now on the mat, toes forward. The front knee straightens and that left hip is drawn back. Our spine gets long. Feel the crown of the head reaching forward, the heart softening towards a soft knee, not a straightened knee, a little micro bend in that knee. Feeling this stretch in the back of the left leg. 1 or 2 breaths here in pyramid. Scoop the navel in on exhale. Walk the hands over the top of the block, tripod the hands out, lift the back leg, standing split. Let that right foot come back to the mat. Set the block aside and put both feet back for your plank. And here you can take a flow or skip flow, knees, chest, chin, elbows in, rolling up to cobra. And push to down dog. Inhale that right foot up. Bend the knee. Fire hydrant. Circles with the ankle. The right knee comes behind the right wrist. I like to use a block. We're going to take our pigeon here. So slide that shin forward to the degree that's comfortable for you. Keep the ankle flexed. Let that knee drop towards the mat. Stretches in the outer right hip and breathe with that for a breath or two. And when you're ready, slide that chin back, set your block aside, frame out your hands, tuck your back toes, return to your three-legged dog. Exhale, step that foot forward between the hands. 2 lanes of traffic, runner's lunge twist. Right hand comes up to the sky, and the left kneecap is drawn up the leg. Bring your right hand down. Exhale, come to forward fold. Inhale, a half lift, and fold. Sweep the hands up. Return the hands to the heart. And release. All right, our first flow. Check in with yourself. How are you doing? Make sure that you're taking the pace that's working for you. Remember, each of us practicing is doing it just a little differently. Honor the body that you're in. Settle your feet into your mountain posture. Find your breath. Take a cycle of breath or two. Soften the knees and the hips. Reach the hands behind you and sweep them up. Exhale, drinking bird. Inhale up, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, drinking bird. Lifting and drinking. And again, lifting the heart, squeezing the glutes. Exhale, drinking bird. Letting the hands come down to the mat as you lengthen into your forward fold. Stepping back on the left knee comes down. We're going to take that runner's lunge on this side, low lunge. So draw that heel towards the knee towards the heel. As the hips sink a little bit, option to raise the arms if you'd like. Just feel that stretch, just in particular the stretch in the hips. That's the primary focus in our low lunge. When you're ready, bring your hands down and drop that right hip back as you peel the toes up for a good hurdler stretch. Walk your hands forward. This is where I like to use a block on the inside of that foot and lift the back knee. Runner's lunge. Just explore it a little bit by offloading a bit of weight onto that block as you just move the weight between the 2 feet. Then bring that right elbow to the knee. Sweep that left arm up. Breathing with that. And bring it back to the sacrum, rolling the heart open. Both hands come down to the block. Step that back foot forward a half step. And then draw that right hip back. We're coming to our pyramid pose. 2 lanes of traffic, both heels at 6 o'clock. Feel that right hip back as the spine grows long and the heart floats down towards a little bit of softness in that front knee. Pretty intense stretch for the front leg, but just breathe with it and honor the experience you're having. We always back away from pain. We surf through these stretches. Option to walk over the top of the block, coming to your standing split. Tripod the hands out, push up through that right leg. And then drop that foot back down, set your block aside, step back for your flow. We're in our plank. You can go directly to down dog or take a flow here. Keep your elbows in. And we all come back to our down dog. Inhaling the left foot up, bend the knee and stack the hips. Exhale, bring that left knee forward for our pigeon on this side. Slide the shin forward a bit. And you may notice, like I oftentimes do, that my stretch on one side is a little different than the other. So just explore the body you're in. Stretching and listening. Another breath. When you're ready, draw that left leg back a bit. Set your block aside. Return to your three-legged dog. With the exhale, bring that left foot between the hands. You can grab your ankle with your left hand and bring it forward. Leave the right hand down as you turn your left hand to the sky for runner's lunge twist. Draw that back kneecap up. Exhale, step to forward fold. Inhale for a half lift and fold. Sweep those arms up as you're squeezing your glutes. And exhale, hands to heart. And release. All right, how are we doing? Take a moment to check in with yourself, listening into your own experience, and then finding your way back to your mountain. And we'll continue a second flow of the B series. Cleansing breath. Hands reach behind you as you come into your chair. Breath here. Exhale and fold. Inhale, a half lift. And fold as you step back to a full plank. Staying in plank, pushing to down dog, or taking a flow here. Knees, chest, shin, chaturanga, up dog. And we all meet in down dog. We'll begin with our left foot. Sweep it up. Bring that foot between the hands. We're going to come into a single lane of traffic with the back toes pointing out at 3 o'clock, Warrior 2. The Warrior series, this particular Warrior 2, brings your hips side facing. So feel that front knee right over the ankle, back toes out at 3 o'clock. Arms parallel to the earth. Gaze to infinity, soften the shoulders and breathe. Take a moment to notice the pelvic floor and give it a nice squeeze with exhale. Turn that front palm over and to come into your peaceful warrior. Draw the back kneecap up. Engage the pelvic floor. Push through that front knee as it straightens, coming to reverse triangle. Footing stays the same, but the front knee grows straight. And then take that top hand and bring it down. We're coming into Trikonasana. I like to bring a block to the outside of my ankle, but it's just as fine to bring your hand to the inside of the calf or thigh. The goal is to roll the heart a little bit to the side and create a nice long spine as you stack the shoulders. Keep drawing that left hip back. Now I'm going to give you the option to stay here or to take your block and walk it into a half moon. With half moon, we're going to go off on a diagonal from our foot to plant that block just a little bit out in front of us. Lift the back heel, flexing that ankle, and rotate to the side, Ardha Chandrasana. A balance challenge for sure. Slowly bring that back foot down so you can come into your Warrior 2 again. If you notice you don't like how you landed, then take a moment to reposition your feet So you feel that you're in your warrior two, that your body is happy here. And then come back to your peaceful warrior. Engage the pelvic floor with the exhale. And now slowly, with intention and a lot of core work here, bring that left elbow down to the knee. But before you place it on the knee, just pause. Let the body do some work here as it's holding the body, the torso, right over, floating on that knee, and then down comes the elbow. Reach that right arm up, extended side angle, and then up over the ear if that feels good. Draw the navel in and up. Let that top arm come down to the mat. And I like to have a block at this point if I can. Coming into a bit of a side lunge. So you're lowering the hips again, getting a stretch on the inner back thigh. And then lift the hips up and walk to the long edge of the mat. Let your heels be out a little bit further than your toes. You can use the block or just your hands. And keep lifting the tailbone as you breathe. Reach your hands forward, like as if in a wide leg down dog. Bring your hands underneath your gaze and walk the hands to the back foot. Turn the back foot to face the short edge of the mat, and then sweep up into a warrior two on this side. We're doing walk around the mat here. We're now facing the opposite direction, still warrior two. Then straighten that front knee, float those hands out, and slowly come into Trikonasana, triangle posture. Your gaze can be at the sky, out at the side, or down at the earth. Watch your balance here. You can always use a chair or a block to help. And then bring that top arm down. We'll walk ourselves back to the top of our mat. As you do, step that left foot back to meet the right. And take a flow, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. And then tuck the toes, come to down dog. Take a breath or two in down dog. And then we'll take these moves on the other side. Inhale the right foot up and step it forward between the hands. We're coming into our warrior two. Toes out to the side of the mat. Float on up. Breathing here. Use the exhales to engage the pelvic floor. Front palm comes up. Peaceful warrior. Exhaling. Exhaling. Reach those fingers up as you straighten the front knee, reverse triangle. And then slowly, with a lot of core work here, float yourself over, coming into your Trikonasana, triangle posture. And breathe with that as you draw that right hip back. Lengthen out the back of that leg. Now the option to come into your half moon. So bringing that block out at a 45-degree angle from the foot. Float that left heel up, flex the ankles. Float into half moon. Breathing here, engaging the core as you draw the navel up. When you're ready, gently stepping back, coming to your warrior two. If you didn't land like you anticipated, just gently heel toe your feet into the right position. Front hand floats up, keep that knee right over the ankle, and peaceful warrior. Think about all those muscles around the abdomen engaging here as you gently and slowly move that elbow to the knee. Pause before it lands. Let it rest there as you come into extended side angle. And then the hand comes up over the ear. Breathing. And let that hand come down to the mat. And we'll walk to the long edge of the mat again, letting our heels tip out further than our toes. So we have a nice straddle fold. This time you might walk your hands through your legs and come into a bit deeper inversion as you lift the tailbone. Lengthen the hamstrings. Breathe with the stretch. Keep a little micro bend in the knees. And then bring your hands underneath your gaze. Turn the back toes to the short edge of the mat. And sweep up into your warrior two here. We're getting that opportunity for a little inversion. And then rising back up again. Let's the blood flow everywhere in the body. Peaceful warrior. And then slowly floating the hands forward as you straighten that front knee. Let the hands reach forward for Trikonasana, triangle posture on this side. On your third exhale, bring that hand down to the mat. Walk again to the long edge of the mat. Pausing there for one more. Stretch heels out, toes in. Plant the hands and let the elbows soften a bit. Lifting that tailbone and lengthening those hamstrings. When you're ready, bring your knees down to the mat and we're going to go ahead and sit down, folding our legs in front of us. And again, we're going to use the two blocks. So you'll notice that I like to sit on a block because I don't have the ability to fold my legs very easily in front of me unless I sit on a block. It helps get my knees a little lower than the hips. You don't have to sit on a block. Depends on your flexibility, the external rotation of your hips, etc. But do, if you have the two blocks, bring them alongside your body because this is going to be a good pelvic floor exercise for all of us. Place your hands on these blocks so that you can kind of feel if you straighten your elbows, you get a little lift there, okay? But we're going to work with the pelvic floor now. So just imagine, we call it the elevator. You engage the pelvic floor, and let's go ahead and do this. So engage it and start lifting it up, 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 as you're pressing into the blocks, breathing though, even as you're engaging, and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and gently soften again. Cleansing breath. Hands on the blocks. Engage the pelvic floor, lifting up that elevator. Up, up, up. Holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Great job. One more time. Cleansing breath. Hands on the blocks. Bring the elevator up, engaging the pelvic floor. Up, up, up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Letting that go. And you can set your blocks aside and come down onto the mat fully with your knees off to one side. And we're going to have our knees in kind of a 90-90 position. And whichever direction your knees are going, walk your hands in that direction as you lengthen up the spine, or your mermaid posture. Keep the back hand down and raise the front hand up. Option to squeeze the glutes and come into a bit of a back bend. Sometimes they call this rock star. Gently softening, letting the hips come down, and then switch sides. We'll take that mermaid on the opposite side, 90-90. Just lean back as you switch the direction of your feet. Lengthen the spine as you rotate towards the same direction the knees are pointing. Leave the back hand down, sweep up. Option to squeeze the glutes, have a bit of a back bend here. And gently releasing. Bringing your hips down to the mat. Let your feet come out in front of you, and we'll engage in just a bit of core practice now. So traction your feet on the mat, lift the heart. Reach the hands forward, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Let your body unfold onto the mat. Coming on down. We're going to take a bridge by bringing our heels up behind the glutes. Roll the shoulders under. Exhale the small of the back down. Squeeze the glutes and rolling up. Draw the knees towards each other, the chin towards the sky. Breathing. Engage your pelvic floor. Lift the heels and slowly lengthen the spine and bring your thumbs right under the tailbone as it comes down. Reach the legs out long. Slowly let the heels lower as you engage the glutes. Keep the small of the back tight towards the earth. If the small of the back starts to lift, then bring your feet back up. Just lower your legs 2 or 3 times, nice and slowly. Breathing with that and squeezing the glutes at the bottom. And then bring your heels in, and we'll take one more bridge. This time, if you have a block near you, take that block and set it between the legs, between the knees. It'll really help you focus getting those knees tight together as you come up into your bridge and breathe. Engage the pelvic floor, 2 breaths. Slowly lift the heels and lengthen the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Set your block aside. Roll your thumbs underneath the tip of the tailbone here for a little sacral support. And this time we're going to sweep a smile with our feet. So let the feet come off to one side, sweep low and squeeze in the center, and then up to the other side. Sweeping a smile. Keep the low back tight to the earth as you do this. Breathing. One more time. And then bring your knees in. Drop the heels behind your glutes. We'll take another bridge. This time, roll the shoulders under, heel toe the feet out to the edge of the mat. Let the toes curl over the edge of the mat. And then roll so that your hips start to elevate. Squeeze the glutes. Keep the knees over the ankles and let the hips drop a little and then squeeze. Drop and squeeze with exhale. Repeating that with your breath. Add the pelvic floor. Three more. 2. 1 more. Hold. And slowly bring that position to a close by bringing your hips down. And bring your knees in towards your chest. Little circles on the back. Welcoming the low back. Massaging it. And then find your block. We'll take legs up the wall. Bridge up enough to bring your block underneath the sacrum, and so you can float your knees in and let the heels float up. You can let your legs drift apart a bit if that feels okay for them. And then something that can be a little challenging, kind of like our one-legged balance challenge, is bring your arms out into a T or into cactus, whichever is workable for you. Let the left leg point to the sky and then start to draw little circles with the right leg. Use your arms out to the side to help give you good support. Switch directions and you choose how big your circle is. And then bring that right leg to point to the sky and make some circles with the left leg. Switching directions. Lubricating our hip joints here. And then bring your heels to stillness as the legs push up, heels to the sky. Soften the knees and bring yourself into happy baby, reaching for your ankles or big toes. Heels go up towards the sky. Elbows between the knees. And if you can't reach for your ankles or your big toes, that's okay too. You can take the dead bug position where you just kind of walk your hands and feet like they're walking on the sky. And just play a little bit with that. And then bring your heels down to behind the block. The soles of the feet can kind of come together and you can rock your hips a little bit left and right. Arms in cactus for our floating goddess. Take a nice breath in here and a slow exhale. And then let your knees come back together as you bridge up a little bit off of your block, setting your block aside. Bring your knees into your hands. Slide the hands down onto the shins as you rock a little bit left and right. Using your elbows to kind of catch you on one side or the other. Keep the right knee in as the left heel goes long. Let that right knee lean out a bit to the right and then come across the body into the left hand. Taking your long spinal twist with the right hand reaching out behind you along with your gaze. Letting that hand come to rest on the earth or the elbow to rest on the earth and the elbow folded. And then breathing with that, letting go. Gently bringing that knee back through center. And bring in the left knee as the right heel goes long. Let the left knee reach out first to the left. Then across the body, reaching that toe out in front of you. And your gaze in the left arm out behind you. Big breath. And release. Lift that leg back up and into center. Now let's begin to prepare ourselves for Shavasana, our final resting posture. Take a moment to unfold your body onto the earth. Arms and legs a little bit away from the center of the body. You can let your palms face up to the sky. You might press your heels in the back of your head into the mat to help you roll your shoulder blades under a little bit. Take a moment or two to get yourself comfortable. And then take your attention into your physical body to just feel the echo of your practice. Whatever you find is okay. Just bringing kindness to it. Softening the eyebrows. Softening the eyes. Releasing the jaw, letting it be lax. The tongue thickening in the mouth. The throat soft. The breath coolly moving in and out. Shoulders heavy. Hips heavy. Heels heavy. Letting everything come to you. The sensations in your body. The sound of my voice. Your breath. Yielding and receiving. Nothing to do but receive. You may choose to stay in this position and rest as long as you wish. Or you may begin to deepen your breath, perhaps lengthening out through the fingers and stretching the fingers and toes. Breathing a little deeper. Feel the movement in the chest, the ribs, the belly. Point through the toes or the heels. When you're ready, bring your knees in towards your chest. And just rock a little bit on your back as you hug your knees gently. Revisiting your intention. And finding your way to a seated posture. We'll close our practice time together. Bringing your hands to heart center. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your presence. May you have a beautiful week. Om Shanti. Namaste. Well, thank you, friends, for joining me for practice to this Thursday evening. And I'd love to connect with you in a breakout room if you have time. Otherwise, always send me an email. I'm happy to hear from you how practice is going for you, or what things would help you build your practice more as we work together in this small community.